I'm going to show you how to create a changing criterion single subject research design graph using Microsoft Office Excel 2007. This is what the graph will look like by the time you're done with the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is to pause the tutorial, open up Microsoft Office Excel 2007, and that should generate a blank file. Then what you're going to do is you're going to enter in these data that you see to the left. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down so that you're able to see most of the data. Okay, so you can see all of the data except for the last few data points, but those are at 0, and you're going to have a total of 44 data points. So pause the tutorial here, enter in these data, and when you're ready, resume with the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is highlight these data, then go to the Insert tab, select Line, select 2D Line with markers, and this is the graph that should appear. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pause the tutorial and you're going to format your graph like you've learned to do in the previous tutorials so that it looks like this graph. Once your graph looks like this graph, you have the same font size for your titles and your scales are formatted exactly the same, and you have a participant identifier, then you're ready to proceed with the tutorial. So go ahead and pause now, and when you're done with your formatting, resume. Okay, the next step in creating a changing criterion design graph is to format all the data series so that they appear to be exactly the same. So what you're going to do is you're going to left click on the first data series, then right click. If you want to make sure that you select the entire data series. Format data series. We're going to leave the marker the same. We're going to go to marker fill, select solid fill, and make sure that it's black. Line color, solid line, make sure it's black. Marker line color, solid line, make sure it's black. Then for the second data series, I'm going to select on that, click Format Data Series, go to Marker Options, click Built-in, and select the diamond. Marker fill, solid, make sure it's black. Line color, solid line, make sure it's black. Marker line color, solid line, make sure it's black. Then select Close. Do that again for the next data series. Make sure you're always selecting the diamond and that everything appears in black. Okay, now you're going to pause the tutorial here and you're going to continue formatting the rest of the data series so that they all appear to be black diamonds. Once you're done with that, go ahead and resume with the tutorial. Okay. So now your graph should look like this. The next step is to enter in the phase lines that will separate each condition. So to do that, you want to make sure you click on your graph, as taught in previous tutorials, go to Insert, go to Shapes, select Line, and then draw in your line. Right-click on that shape and then format it. Make sure the color is black. And the line style, go with the 4th dash down. And there you go. Now the shortcut, some people say it's a shortcut, is to right-click on this shape, select Copy, hit Paste, and then the line will appear along the side. You can do that and drag the line across to all the different phases, or you can just draw in the line like I just showed you for the remaining conditions. I don't prefer the shortcut because sometimes the line gets stuck along the side and it can be really frustrating to get that line out. So I prefer to draw it in. Again, I'll show you one more time. Make sure you click on the graph, go to Insert, go to Shapes, go to Line, draw your line, go to Format Shape, Line Color, Black, Line Style, fourth dash down. Select Close. And you can adjust it just by dragging it down so that it's the same height. And again, you're going to do that for the remaining conditions. So pause the tutorial here and make sure that you have a phase line for each condition so that each condition is separated from each other. Once you've done that, resume with the tutorial. Okay, so now your graph should look like this graph. And you can always make adjustments to your phase line or anything else that you've drawn in to make sure that they're in the right spots. Okay, the next step is to draw in the condition labels. And you should know how to do this already, but I'm going to give you a refresher. So again, make sure you're clicked on your graph, go to Insert, go to Shapes, select Text Box. Draw your text box, type in the letters for that condition, highlight. We're going to select 14 for the, we'll go with 12. Well, I think it is 14 for this font to make sure it's the same as that one. Example below, yep. And then just drag this up to the top. Okay, now the shortcut works much better with a text box because it's easier to grab. So you just copy this and then paste and then drag that box to the next condition. And then type in 10 because that is the goal for this phase right here. So if you go up here to the top of your data, you will see what number you should be typing in for each phase. Okay, so let me show you that one more time. Again, hit paste, drag it over, put in the next goal, which was 8. Okay, so pause the tutorial here, enter in your phase labels, and then once you've done that, resume with the tutorial. Okay, so now your graph should look like this. The next step is to enter in our goal lines, and the last step. It's very easy to do. Again, make sure you're clicked on your graph. You're going to go to Insert, going to go to Shapes, and you're going to go to Line. Then what you're going to want to do is to make sure that you draw your line exactly where the goal was set, straight across that phase. Then you're going to want to format that line. So again, click on the shape, go to Format Shape, go to Line Color, select Black, and then go to Line Style. I like to make this a little bit thicker so it's easier to see. Okay. Now, you can copy this shape, and you can hit Paste, and move it to the next one. Copy, and select Paste, and move it to the next goal. The next goal is at 7. You're going to make sure it falls right at 7. Okay, so pause the tutorial here, and make sure that you put in lines, goal lines, for all of your phases. And then once you've done that, you should be completed with your changing criterion graph. It should look like this. And that is how you make a changing criterion single subject research design graph using Microsoft Office Excel 2007.